Hello, and welcome to the Art of Video Games series. I'm Annie Mock, an author, illustrator, musician, and occasional games maker. Last time we talked about a small-scale mainstream series, the Sonic Advance trilogy for the Game Boy Advance for the early 2000s. Today we take in an indie game, and there's been a lot of words and ink spilled over this particular indie game, Undertale, since its release in September 2015. Made in Game Maker by Toby Fox, who also made its Heavenly soundtrack, and now runs on PS4 and Steam. Not bad for a little game billed as the RPG game where you don't have to destroy anyone. I'm also including some content about Undertale's main influence, the Shigesato Itoi masterpiece, Earthbound. Now, before you go further, I urge you not to watch this video before you play Undertale yourself, unless you don't care about spoilers. There's an element of surprise inherent to the joy in Undertale, and I wouldn't want to ruin that for anyone. Now watch that and watch no further, unless you are filled with determination to continue. If you've made it down the tunnel with me, you may know much of what I'm about to say, so forgive me. I'm only including the first hour or so of gameplay, so as not to spoil anything. Take this as the testimony of a girl who just recently met Sans and Papyrus in Undertale, as well as watched a few videos on the topic, including Some Call Me Johnny's and the Epic Completionist review, linked in the description below. Now, Toby Fox built Undertale out of the shadows of Shigesato Itoi's Earthbound, a game for the Super Nintendo that loomed large in many imaginations. He made an Earthbound Halloween ROM hack, which is what it sounds like when you take an emulated ROM and you hack it to change the game. Undertale's atmosphere lies in its sweetness, creepiness, and humor. You play a human and kid of indeterminate race or gender, and certain monsters in this world are referred to with the gender-neutral singular they pronoun. The kid is functionally expressionless, but with the kind of pixelated face that much can be read into. The kid is a silent protagonist, essentially, but in every quote-unquote battle that you enter, you can joke, flirt, cajole, tease, and say very much without specific dialogue, as long as you are choosing not to fight within the context of each battle. Undertale's fandom seems to center around its jokier, though no less human, side characters, but the human character tethers you to the narrative. You fear for their safety, as Toriel does. Now, Toriel, this goat creature, treats you like her kid once you get into the meat of the game, and during the fight sequence, I accidentally killed her. This loss haunted me through the rest of my playthrough. Fox's central thesis, that violence has consequences, never rang so true for me as in that moment. The humor in the game, much like Earthbound, is meta. One skeleton named Sans speaks in Comic Sans font, and his brother Papyrus speaks in, you guessed it, Papyrus. Much like that, in Earthbound, you might talk to a dog that says, "The game developers programmed me to say this," or "Dogs don't talk." Goofy jokes like this work due to the good-natured charm of both games. They're bolstered by the sweet character designs. Sans is a skeleton that wears a blue hoodie. Toriel is a big goat-eyed creature. The monsters are charming ghosts and carrots and frogs. The lead character walks through many purple tunnels in the opening section of the game, and eventually gets to a beautiful deep blue forest where he meets the Skelly brothers. The fixed aerial perspective has always given me a Dollhouse kind of vibe, something that I read about Zelda in my book Annie Mock Loves Video Games. The massive success of Undertale among young teens deflates any notion that young people need fancy 4K graphics to enjoy video games, particularly young girls. No, all an audience needs is beautiful art, story, and gameplay and music. Now let's jump back to Earthbound, originally named Mother 2 in Japan after the original NES Mother, which is named for the John Lennon song of the same name. The game might have been called Father, as the absent father, who communicates with you by phone and gives you money, leaves perhaps more of an impression in this game. We'll get to the GBA only, never officially brought to the US, Mother 3 in another episode. While Earthbound uses a straight-ahead, top-down, while Undertale uses a straight-ahead, top-down view more classic to the Legend of Zelda games, Undertale uses an isometric perspective Earthbound uses an isometric perspective that is often referred to as more decorative rather than a more functional perspective, but I disagree with that. It's a matter of different visual languages. In classic Japanese woodblock prints, the perspective is often that objects that are higher up in the picture plane are farther away, as is the case with some modern cartoons and illustration, which Earthbound seems to draw its visual style from. Undertale is sweeter, more of a turning on its head of the classic Dragon Quest style JRPGs, while Earthbound tells the story more in spite of its turn-based battle trappings. Undertale is a bit of a deeper experience, perhaps, but then those looking for the richest and most layered entry in the Mother series should, by many accounts, turn to Mother 3. Earthbound had a hellacious development over several years, with Hal Satoru Iwata, R.I.P., stepping in at one point to save development. Both games should definitely be played with anyone who's concerned with great storytelling in any medium. Toby Fox and Shigesato Itoy, if you're watching this somehow, the billionth Undertale and Earthbound analysis video to be uploaded to YouTube, thank you both for your singular works. Now, if you'd like to support me, thanks for watching. If you'd like to support me, dear viewer, you can become my patron on Patreon for $1 a month, get PDFs or games of mine from Gumroad, or buy my book Annie Mock Loves Video Games on Big Cartel, all available in links in the description below. Thanks for watching. Link, comment, subscribe if you want, and I hope you share some art with someone today. Thank you.